Hey everyone, it's Amy here and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel for the very first time. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a review, some swatches, and live brush swatches of the new palette from Jouer. And this is the Jouer Skinny Dip Ultra Foil Shimmer Shadows. And I was so excited for this to launch because look at this, you guys. Like, oh my goodness, it is just ultra sparkly and just, I'm all about the bling and the sparkle, so this just spoke to me, and this beautiful gold packaging. I just had to have it, so I thought it'd be really cool to get this palette and share it with you guys because it's really unique and definitely just a really cool palette to have in your collection. So we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and all that jazz, but first let's go ahead and talk about the price and where you can purchase it from. Currently, you can purchase it from Jouer's website. It's still completely in stock, and it retails for $40 for the 6 shades that you get in here that are the Ultra Foiled Shimmer shades. And Jouer's website describes it as, the Jouer Skinny Dip Collection Eyeshadow Palette features 6 new, they are brand new shades, Ultra Foil Shimmer Shadows that deliver an intense, shimmering metallic finish. Layer together or use as a gorgeous glittering accent to your favorite looks. And they claim they're long-wearing, paraben-free, sulfate-free, phthalate-free, highly pigmented, crease-resistant, and dermatologist tested. The couple things I want to talk about throughout this video is the fact that they say that they're long-wearing and crease-free, because I think there are some inconsistencies about this palette with that. But first, let's talk about the packaging. This is the box it came in. I wish the box was what the packaging is, because look how beautiful this is. Hopefully it will focus. Like, you can see, like, oh my gosh, and the light's not even picking it up, but it changes colors because it's kind of like the rainbow sparkles, and it has little drips. This packaging is gorgeous. I wish they had done the same thing on this, because this is just a flat gold packaging, but still it's really pretty. And then here are all these shimmer shades. Like, look at that sparkle. Like, you can see the sparkles in there. Like, they're just absolutely stunning. So, we are going to talk about each of the shades. I do have one specific shade on my eyelid for a purpose, and that's the shade Bikini. So, out of these 6 shades, there's 4, and that's the silver shade Starlight, the kind of bronze shade Skinny Dip, the more golden bronze shade Tan Lines, and kind of like that really nice taupey color Magic Hour. All 4 of those shades are very smooth, very silky. They glide on the eyes very, very easily, and they build up really easily. And they are just ultra pigmented, ultra metallic, and you will see those in the swatches, because how I swatch them with a brush is exactly how they apply on the eyes. So just really, really ultra foiled shimmery shadows. Like, if you're going for an everyday look, I don't really know if most of these colors will suit that, because they're just so sparkly. So like for me, being in the professional business environment, most of these shades except for Bikini, which is what I have on today, which I'm getting ready to go to work right now, is kind of just too like glitz and glamorous for work, because they are just very intense, really, really intense metallic, as well as once you put all of them on your eyes, they kind of just create a smoky color no matter what. So all of these are very, very dark and smoky and metallic looking. None of them are like light champagnes or light nudes or anything like that. They are all very, very intense but smoky. So like I said, Starlight, Skinny Dip, Tan Lines, and Magic Hour, all really fantastic formula. Then you get down to Midnight Swim, which is a really dark brown with some black undertones in there. And this one has a little bit of a drier formula. And I tend to find that with any palette that I have, regardless if it's matte or shimmer, that anything with a black tends to be a little bit more of a dry formula. So that's the case with this one. Still ultra pigmented, still goes on the eye easily and builds up, but it just feels a little bit more dry. It doesn't feel as wet and foiled compared to the other ones, but it's still really good. So then we get down to Bikini. Because Bikini is the one in the bunch that it definitely doesn't seem like the others. Isn't there that like phrase or song like one thing's not like the other? Like, that's Bikini. Bikini is not quite like the others in this palette, and I'm not really sure, because I'm like you guys. I'm a consumer. Like, I don't work in the beauty industry. I'm not an influencer that gets to see behind the scenes or anything like that, so I don't know how it goes down when they build palettes. But to me, as a consumer, what I'm thinking is, if I was making this palette and testing it, and I tried all 5 and they were amazing, and I got to Bikini, I'd be like, whoa, 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 something's different. Let's go back, reformulate it, and figure out how to make it just as amazing. But I feel like instead they were just like, it's good enough, let's put it in the palette. And to me, Bikini is just so different. It is just not as pigmented, it is not as foiled, it is not as metallic, and it doesn't pick up very well on the brush. I really have to build it up. So I wanted to show that to you guys right now. This is what it looks like on my eyelids. I do have some like colors from the chocolate, Too Faced chocolate bonbons on my crease, but for the most part it's bikini all over my eyes because I thought it was going to be important to show you guys what it looks like because it is workable and it does give you a beautiful natural finish, and it's a very wearable everyday kind of color. So like I said, majority of the colors in this palette are just a little too intense for work and really smoky and intense. This one's more subtle. It's a little bit more of a pink champagne color. It's more wearable, but it's totally different than the other formulas. So not everything in here to me is an ultra foiled shimmer shadow like how it's described about this palette. To me, this one is just like a light shimmer. It takes a lot of building up. You can get hard pan really easily. And it just kind of creates that film on top where it's harder to pick up, whereas the other ones, I don't have that issue. You can pick them up with your finger or a brush and they work great. I find that when I do that with bikini, I get that film on top and it's much easier with a brush. But I do have to take a dense brush. For example, I was using my Sigma Medium Sweeper E54, and I'm really like digging in it, almost trying to create a little bit of a powder. That way I can pick up the powder and pack it on my eyelids. But I just wanted to show you guys, it is pretty. Like, don't get me wrong, this is pretty, but when you see the swatches and when you apply them to your eyelids, they are totally different. This bikini shade is definitely not as pigmented, not as foiled, and not as shimmery compared to the others. Don't get me wrong, it's not horrible, but I wouldn't describe it as an ultra foiled shimmer shadow like the rest of them. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys. It's not total crap. You can see it on my eyes. It is wearable. It is really pretty, but it's not quite like the other shades in this palette. So speaking of the brushes, I do want to mention the brushes that work well with this palette that I have in my collection. For all the other shades besides bikini, I like to use my MAC 242. This is just a flat definer brush. I find that it picks it up really well and packs it on the lid and it builds up really easily. This is my favorite brush to use whenever I have a really foiled eyeshadow. And also, all the glitters in this palette inside the eyeshadows are very, very finely milled. None of them feel gritty to the touch. None of them feel gritty and I don't get fallout whatsoever. So that's really good. Now, like I said, for the pink shade, which you can use this kind of dense brush no matter what with any of these shades, but I specifically like a really short, dense brush with that bikini shade. And again, this is the Sigma E54. The other claim that they do make is that it is long wearing and crease proof. And I do want to talk about that because I find that these are not crease proof if you don't take the appropriate precautions. So when I was testing this out, I had a lot of time last week, plus I had the whole holiday weekend where we stayed home. So I would put like one shade here, one shade here. I look totally crazy, but that's how I like to test things out. No eyeshadow primer, no other colors with it, other colors with it. And what I found, regardless if I use a primer or no primer, but if I didn't use any other eyeshadows on my eye and only went in with one of these shades, they do crease around the 4 to 5 hour mark. I start to get little lines where I have fine lines on my eyelids, as well as the actual crease of my eye was creating a crease with these eyeshadows. So I don't think they're long wearing if you wear them by themselves. Now, the only one I think you truly could wear by itself anyways is bikini because it's a little bit more natural and everyday wearable. The rest of these shades are extremely foiled that if you put those only by itself on your eye, it kind of just creates a harsh line and nothing looks blended out that well anyways. So I don't think a lot of the time you're going to be wearing these shades by themselves. So as long as you use another eyeshadow with it, and I think most of the time people are going to be using transition shades, crease shades, outer V shades, like as long as you have something else in the crease as a base, and then you put these on top, then they're fine. Then they are extremely long wearing. I'm talking 10 and 12 plus hours. Totally fine. I will say it's after that 12-hour mark because I happen to have my makeup on for about 13 hours yesterday. I do see a little bit of creasing. Nothing like when I wore them completely by themselves, but they did start to crease. But as long as you wear some kind of eyeshadow base underneath, then these are going to work great. Because they are foiled though, and because we have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles on our eyelids, I still would suggest wearing an eyeshadow primer with these just to give it a little bit of longevity and help it out, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Just the eyeshadow and the crease is absolutely necessary. So overall, I really like this palette, but I'm not going to give it a love it because I think there is a little bit of inconsistency with this bikini shade and it not being like the other ones and being a true ultra foiled shimmer shadow, as well as the fact that it is possible for it to crease when it says it is crease proof, but that's not 100% absolutely true, but there is a way around it. So overall, I think it's a beautiful palette. We are going to Vegas and I'm totally taking this palette with me because these are just perfect shimmery shadows to be in Vegas. So I really, really like this palette. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it if you just know how to use the palette, as well as you're aware of the bikini shade being a little different. But I think a lot of people will like this palette. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review and seeing some swatches. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay tuned to all my upcoming videos, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!